Hello everyone, Grim King here showing off a build I've been working on. With this new season we were surprised with the long-awaited Paladin. I've been playing around with all the perks and skills, but nothing felt as fun as using Thorns. To be able to run through a Helltide and watch demons just splatter all over my shield, nothing has felt as satisfying. Now by no means is this build meta or a speed clear build. That doesn't mean it can't handle tier 4 content and endgame content. It's still build in progress and I only plan to make it better. The main skill I'm using is Shield Charge to clear away most of the majority of the mobs. Now Shield Charge is a huge strain on your faith, and early game I had a hard time maintaining that strain. I would only get a few seconds of Shield Charge before it ran out and I'd have to rebuild my faith. I believe that the skill, instead of draining 1 faith per second, it multiplies. So instead of being 1 faith per second, on the second it would be 2 faith, and then on the third second it would be 3 faith. Anyways, that's how it feels to me. So to counteract this, I used a rune combo, BACLUM. That will counteract the resource drain because it is a distance traveled, will restore resource. And I get about 8 seconds of charging before I have to drop the skill, or the skill drops itself. However, that's perfect timing for me to recast the Aegis skill. Now the Aegis skill paired with the Shield of Zakarum will actually give me about, well, actually does give me 100% Retribution chance when compared or combined with the sword. It will actually give me 100% chance for the Retribution to do double damage. Now, for anything bigger than just your regular mobs, I actually use Fortress combined with Consecration and Shield of Retribution. This will allow me to use Shield of Retribution without worrying about the cost of faith. And the Fortress is going to be doing my Thorns damage, as well as Consecration giving me a damage boost. Again, not one-shotting these things, but this is tier 4 content, and I don't have to worry about them phasing. So it works for me, and I plan on trying to get it to a point where I can do a lot more damage. I'm just kind of tinkering around with some of the tempers. The tier 4 layer bosses ain't that hard. As you can see, I'm draining their health quite constantly. If it does suffer anywhere, it suffers a bit in the pit. I was able to clear pit 75 with it, which is the end of the content for the seasonal pass. Most of my glyphs are only sitting at level 50, so more work to be done on those. And as you can see at the end of the video, when you're looking at my gear, I forgot that Sanctification actually makes it so I can't work on the gear anymore, and I forgot to put sockets into some of my gear. But even with having gear that's not fully socketed, I still need to get better ancestral gear. It's performing quite well. And this is a pit 75, and anything that's like the elite packs there, I'll just throw down a Fortress with Consecration, and it takes care of them quite well. It's very tanky, hardly ever have to worry about health. Just gotta watch out for those daggers there. They do unreasonable damage, as well as the explosive affix. But I think you're going to be worrying about that on any build. With my current setup, I have about 85,000 armor with 9,200 thorns. I'm sitting at 50% cooldown reduction and 200% movement speed. I would aim for more cooldown reduc than movement speed, because what you're trying to aim for is to have Aegis up 100% of the time. That way you have 100% Retribution chance, as well as more Thorns damage. And for the Paragon boards, I went with, for my starting board, I have Revenge for my first glyph. On my second board, I went with Castle with the Sentinel glyph. For my third board, I chose Shield Bearer with the Outmatch glyph. For my fourth board, I went Relentless with the Undaunted glyph, and for my last board, I went with Endear and Chip. Shield Charge as well as Shield of Retribution is considered physical, so the Chip glyph there should help out with the damage on top of the Thorns and Retribution. It's not very demanding as far as gear goes. I'm not running a single mythic, though I plan on adding some mythics. I did pick up a Ring of Starless Skies. I did sanctify it, and it wasn't a great sanctification, didn't really break it, but I think I could do better. So I'm waiting on the perfect sanctifications for the mythics. As far as my gear goes, I only tempered, I believe, on my gloves and on one of my rings. I went for Juggernaut damage. Retribution in the tag says the damage from Retribution is considered Juggernaut damage. I'm thinking about changing those out for Retribution size. That way it clears more of the mobs I run into. It's another thing I just have to test. I went with as much core skills as I could get for the Shield Charge and for the Shield of Retribution. As you can see here, overall damage or all damage is sitting at 65.6 thousand%. Retribution chance only says 50, but as soon as I pop Aegis, it goes up to 100. As well as I have a little bit of faith regen in there. I don't think it's needed. I just did it just to be safe. 50% cooldown reduction without Sheikah, which I think is quite impressive. I got a Masterworks tempered there for Aegis duration. For Grey the Mantle of the Grey. Greater affix on Thorns and Thistles for... I actually got lucky on that sanctification, plus 110 stats. And I believe I also got lucky on my pants for the sanctification as well. Gloves could still use a bit of work. Yeah, plus 125 all stats for my pants. I'm really lucky on that sanctification. I'm sitting at 3,200 strength, which I think is the highest stat I've ever gotten through any of the seasons I've played, which is pretty crazy. Overall, the build is simple. It doesn't need a lot of gear, it just needs the right tempers and the right affixes. Cooldown is really important. You want to be able to have 100% uptime on your Aegis, and you want to be able to get back the Consecration and Fortress as fast as possible. One of the auras that I am running is Defiance, because not only does that help you with your armor, but it also helps with Thorns. I've noticed in any T4, whether it's Helltide or just Nightmare Dungeons, when you activate Defiance, it actually does a lot of damage. Not so much in pits and layer bosses, but it will definitely one-hit the area around you if you're just doing a Nightmare Dungeon or Helltide, and they're not like really, really beefy kind of ads. I plan on putting out another video with better gear. Hopefully I could see some bigger numbers hit, but that's all for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to drop comments. If you have any suggestions, feel free to drop comments. I usually watch, or I should say read meta builds, like on Max Roll or something, and I kind of roll with that. This is really my first build. So far this season, I have not looked up any builds, or I've seen them, of course, but I haven't looked up any of the, build guides or gone with a meta. This is my first ever just kind of go with the flow, what feels right, what feels good kind of build, and this has been extremely fun, and I think it's something worth trying out. Like I said, if there's any cons, is the faith drain, as well as needing that cooldown reduction, and as well as the shield charge can be a bit finicky on hits. It tends to sometimes push them off the shield instead of hitting them. In that case, just kind of run circles around the person until you hit them. Not favorable, but unfortunately I think that's just how it's playing out right now. I'm not sure if it's a bug or not. But thanks for watching this video. I appreciate the time. Okay, thanks. Bye.